Hello and very warm welcome to the Canada News with your host Divya. Now let's take a look at the headlines. The vaccination process was discussed by Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown, who said he received frequent emails from city residents about it. Peel Region Chief Medical Officer Dr. Lawrence Law said the positive rate in the city has been 18.7%, but it is important that we follow the instructions to reduce the positive rate. NDP National Leader Jagmeet Singh has also called for the formation of a party government in Alberta and Ontario. Now news in detail. The vaccination process was discussed by the Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown, who said he received frequent emails from city residents about it and will now finally be able to get the city to register for essential workers and those over 18 years of age. According to him, focusing on hotspots for the next week is condemnable.
The move on Monday at 8 a.m. to allow those over 18 to book vaccine appointments has been met with great encouragement. There has been long queues to sign up for vaccines because people understand that getting a vaccine protects their friends, family, and their community. And for a long time during this pandemic, I was getting emails from mothers and fathers, husbands and wives concerned about a loved one working in an essential workplace. The average age of an essential workplace is 36 in Brampton, and so there's a lot of people that did not meet the age threshold before when it was 45 plus. And so, you know, those worried emails, it was something that kept me up at night because I know there was so much worry in our community. To know that all those workers are now eligible to book a vaccine appointment is just such good news. And you know, for the first time in the last year, I really feel optimistic about the road ahead. If you want to book your vaccine appointment, please visit ontario.ca/bookvaccine or call 1-888-999-6488. And I can tell you personally, when I went to get my vaccine, I did it to protect my wife, our two young children, and to protect my community. And I would encourage everyone to do the same, to get your vaccine, to protect yourself, to protect your loved ones, and to protect your community. The only caveat that I would say in this sea of good news, because it really is good news that we finally have protection on the way. The commitment right now for the increased vaccine supply to focus on the hotspots is for the next 2 weeks, and it really needs to be beyond that. If we only are able to vaccinate a portion of our essential workers, we're going to be in the same position a few weeks from now. And so I know those discussions are ongoing, but I just want to highlight the fact that that vaccine supply needs to stay stable. You know, we have an opportunity here to put out the fire, to deal with the outbreak in the hotspots, and it can't be a half measure. We need to get this job done. We need to make sure that our essential workplaces are finally protected.
Peel Region Chief Medical Officer Dr. Lawrence Law said the positive rate in the city has been 18.7%, but it is important that we follow the instructions to reduce the positive rate and also reduce the loan on hospitals, who said the city is 90% hotspots. Also welcome the province's decision to vaccinate in hotspots.
This week, Brampton's test positivity is at 18.7% with a weekly incidence rate of 455.3 cases per 100,000. There are early indications that our curve is starting to bend, but I must reinforce that this trend is early. We have been here before in the other two waves, and we know that we cannot let up. Success depends on continuing to limit our contact and interactions while getting vaccinated more and more, especially as our hospitals continue to contend with hospitalizations, intensive care demand, and the deaths that follow any surge. This week, as Mayor Brown mentioned, we have learned that William Osler is welcoming providers from Newfoundland and the Northwest Territories to support ongoing efforts to save lives and spare families from the impacts of grief or long-term COVID. I welcome these providers to our community, and naturally I wish it was under different circumstances, and thank them for their support. We're also in week 2 of our updated Section 22 order for workplaces and have started to see our workplace closures get ahead of outbreaks of the variants in our community. I do want to thank all of the impacted businesses that have complied with our investigations and have done their part to keep their employees and our community safe. Your sacrifices are helping, And while we are far from the end, we've also never been so close as we continue to vaccinate steadily. Peel's unique situation means that 85, almost nearly 90% of our community lives in a provincially designated hotspot, including all postal code areas in the city of Brampton. Our vaccine campaign continues to administer over 100,000 vaccinations a week across all channels. Every single dose we deliver is going to a resident of a hotspot. We welcomed the province's recent announcement and move to bring 18 plus in hotspots to booking, as it allows many more of our residents to access our system and get vaccinated, and bring us closer to the 75% first dose target in our community.
Meanwhile, NDP National Leader Jagmeet Singh has also called for the formation of a party government in Alberta and Ontario. He said the party had put pressure on the Liberal Party to provide direct financial assistance to Canadians and students, and that his party had led to first federal program on paid sick leave has done a great job.
I think that people across this country are better served when there are new Democrats elected, and we can show with clear examples that when the millions of Canadians were unable to put food on the table or to pay rent because they were unable to work due to lockdowns, it was New Democrats who doubled the serve, got more help to more people to make sure they had the money they needed to survive. We did that. When students in Toronto and across this country were completely ignored by the Liberal government, it was New Democrats who fought to make sure that they got direct financial support. We have shown people across this country that when you elect more New Democrats, you are better off. People are better off because we are fighting for you. We brought in increases to the wage subsidy. When the Liberals introduced it at 10%, we increased it to 75%. That meant that we covered 75% of workers' salaries, and that kept millions of people employed. Millions of Canadians are better off when New Democrats are elected. And when it comes to the most vital tool to fighting this pandemic, paid sick leave, we laid the foundation for the first program at the federal level. We fought to make it happen. It needs to be improved, but we did that. It was not on the Liberals' agenda. We pushed and fought and got that victory for people. And again, we've shown that people are better off in Toronto and across Canada when New Democrats are elected. So we'll show Canadians that they're better off, and we'll continue to fight to show that our focus is on making life better for people, and we have shown that, and we've proven that, and we'll continue to do that in Toronto, but across Canada. We've got a strategy to communicate with all of Canada, including Toronto. It's really important to me. I love the city. It's where I was born. I call a lot of places home because I've lived in lots of places in Canada, but it's really special to me. It's really important to me. And the people of Toronto deserve to have someone there fighting for them. And we've got incredible candidates that have been nominated and more to come that will do a really amazing job of fighting for people. I think of Paul Taylor, recently nominated, who's someone that is well known as an advocate for food security, someone who's got a lot of cred, a lot of respect, and a lot of passion for people.
Opposition groups called for a boycott of the government after reports of a long-term care home failed. Did not ask, and even now the arrangements are not being improved and PSW workers are not being recruited. Therefore, the minister should resign. The minister claimed that the government is taking concrete steps.
These families are not just upset. They are dealing with trauma, with pain, with mental health impacts that will last for much longer than I think this minister understands. Speaker, let's recap what we've heard from the minister this week. She said that she didn't start the fire in long-term care. She said that the death of 4,000 Ontarians was overdue. And she said that she has nothing to apologize for. She even said that it's everyday Ontarians who need to do some, and I'll quote, soul-searching about why Conservatives let their loved ones suffer and die from neglect. Speaker, this minister didn't take action when she was supposed to. They didn't hire PSWs over the summer. They didn't increase infection control measures in our long-term care homes. They failed to act.
Mr. General,
the only one that needs to do some soul-searching, Mr. Speaker, is this minister, and she needs to resign. When is she going to do that?
Minister of Long-Term Care.
Thank you, Speaker. I know very clearly what is true and what is not true. When we look at the response to the outbreaks in our homes, we were working round the clock. to address the capacity issues, the overcrowding in long-term care, to address the staffing, making sure that we were taking every measure possible, integrating the acute care sector into long-term care homes, the public health inspections, the public health efforts to support these homes, and training people during this time to make sure we had the workforce necessary, starting with the staffing plan that we had already undertaken and begun, and hiring over 8,600 people into long-term care with the pandemic pay. With the efforts in infection prevention and control, we were able to reduce the level of severity of the outbreaks. And I'm so grateful to the hospitals for coming to our aid when it was necessary. We were making sure all these levers were being taken, and we were continuing to advance long-term care on the staffing, the 4 hours of care.
Ontario Health Minister Christine Elliott outlined the COVID-19 vaccine process in the province, announcing the launch of mobile immunization units at hotspot workplaces in Toronto, Peel and the York region.
With a stable supply of vaccines, we continue to deliver more shots in arms. To date, over 5.5 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been administered, and 43% of Ontario adults have received their first dose. Thank you to our healthcare workers, public health units, and many other partners whose hard work has helped us come this far. This week, we ramped up our rollout of COVID-19 vaccines to support our most at-risk communities, allocating 50% of this week's vaccine shipment to hotspot communities. To support this, on Monday, we opened up our provincial booking system to individuals 18 years of age and over in hotspots. The demand has been unprecedented, and on Monday alone, we saw over 533,000 appointments booked through the provincial system. Tomorrow, we will further expand eligibility to book an appointment, including to individuals aged 50 and over across the province, individuals with high-risk health conditions, and Group 1 of workers who cannot work from home, such as food manufacturing and distribution, agriculture and farm workers, elementary and secondary school workers, police, firefighters, and emergency medical service workers. As we receive more vaccines, we will continue to make it easier than ever to get vaccinated in our hardest-hit communities. Starting later this week, up to 60 pharmacies will begin to offer the Moderna vaccine in Durham, Hamilton, Ottawa, Windsor-Essex, and York Region's hotspot areas to individuals aged 18 and over. Further expansion of vaccines in pharmacies will continue throughout the month. Thanks to the many Ontarians who continue to sign up to receive the vaccine as soon as it's their turn. We expect to administer first doses to 65% of Ontarians aged 18 and over by the end of May. Nearly 7.9 million Ontarians.
Sylvia Jones, head of the Vaccine Distribution Task Force in Ontario, outlines the next strategy for vaccine rollout. He said the vaccine rollout strategy has been expanded this week, with the target of vaccinating 18 years old in the province by week of May 24th.
We are continuing to take steps to expand the province's immunization rollout, and we remain determined to get vaccines distributed to as many people as possible in areas where COVID-19 and its variants are spreading most rapidly. That is why today we are announcing the launch of new mobile vaccine units to help us quickly reach small to medium-sized workplaces in areas where the need is greatest. Beginning Friday, an initial deployment of up to 5 mobile units will be launched in Toronto, York, and Peel regions to reach businesses that have employees who cannot work from home and have a history or risk of outbreaks. In addition to this initial launch, more mobile units will continue to be added over the next several weeks. These will be equipped with the necessary resources to provide an easy and seamless process for workers to be vaccinated as quickly as possible in priority hotspots. We also continue to work with prospective employers in areas where workplace vaccination clinics can have the greatest impact to help stop the spread of COVID-19 and protect our communities. These employer-led vaccination clinics have been completed or are underway at Amazon, Maple Lodge Farms, and Maple Leaf Foods. Additional ones will also be operationalized at other large employers in Peel Region, including Loblaws, Walmart, Magna, Air Canada, Purolator, and HelloFresh. In addition, the Ontario Food Terminal in Toronto, the largest wholesale fruit and produce distribution centre in Canada, will operate a workplace vaccination site starting May 10th. This growing number of vaccination sites is contributing to our collective efforts by protecting workers and expanding access to vaccines in residents in high-risk communities. While these are encouraging steps, we must continue to do all we can to save lives and reduce hospitalizations by staying home and following public health measures.
The vaccination process in Toronto is in full swing, with Mayor John Tory saying that more than 12.46 billion residents in the city of Toronto have been vaccinating against the corona vaccine so far. He said Toronto Public Health is now focused on providing vaccines for hotspot areas.
I want to thank everyone working across our city to get residents vaccinated. The city, Toronto Public Health, hospital partners, community health organizations, and community organizations generally are working across Toronto to get people vaccinated, and this is happening everywhere. But we do continue to focus on our hottest of hotspots based on scientific evidence founded on saving lives and stopping virus spread, and based on the effective use of limited supply. I do want to thank every eligible person who has stepped up to get vaccinated, those who helped people to step up, and of course those who have actually administered the vaccinations, and all of those who have supported all of our vaccination efforts. Our public health officials at the city have been clear that every single vaccine approved in Canada is safe and effective. And the best vaccine for you is the one that is available to you right now, the soonest. Today, the city and our partners are holding 34 clinics across the city, including pop-up and mobile clinics in hotspots like, and for people 18 plus, hotspots like North York. Toronto Health Partners with a pop-up clinic in Newtonbrook vaccinating 1,200 people. University Health Network holding 3 pop-up clinics in George Harvey Collegiate Institute, Habitant Arena, and Albion Arena to vaccinate more than 7,000 people. Unity Health Toronto, Downtown East Health Team, and West Toronto, Ontario Health Team holding 5 pop-up clinics to vaccinate 3,460 people. It's a great sign of progress that 223,817 people have registered for a vaccine in a city-run clinic since the eligibility opened up just this past Monday to people 18 and older who live in hotspots. 223,817 people just since Monday have signed up for a vaccine in a city-run clinic since we opened the eligibility up to people, the province did, 18 and older in hotspots. Chief Pegg will detail how available appointments in city-run clinics, which are entirely based on vaccine supply from the other governments, how those appointments are filling up.
Dr. Alan Dybla, Medical Officer, Toronto, informed about the COVID-19 outbreaks in the city of Toronto. He said that 991 cases were reported in Toronto today. 1,162 patients are hospitalized, 281 critically ill and are hospitalized.
Today, I'm reporting 991 new cases of COVID-19. 1,162 people are currently in hospital, and 281 people are in intensive care. I'm also saddened to report 9 new deaths today. I want to speak to the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine today and the risk of blood clots, because I know there's a lot of talk about both this week. At this point in time, we are waiting for clarification on when further AstraZeneca deliveries for Toronto will resume and on what scale. Nonetheless, it is reasonable to expect this will happen and that many people will have the option of accepting their first or second dose. If you are one of them, the likelihood of a serious blood clot occurring is currently accepted as 1 in 100,000. Some set the figure at 1 in 250,000. I would suggest we can, in fact, look to the United Kingdom for confidence in the low risk of receiving the vaccine. More than 22 million first doses of AstraZeneca have been given there. And thus far, there have been 209 cases of blood clots related to the vaccine. This equates to 9.3 cases per 1 million doses. In Canada, more than 1.7 million doses have been delivered here, and the risk of blood clot-related side effects continues to be considered very rare. We are dealing with a new virus. As such, we are all in unexplored territory, and our knowledge related to the virus continues to grow.
Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie announced the latest status of the COVID vaccine rollout in the city, announcing that citizens 18 years of age and older will now be eligible for the COVID vaccine. He said the vaccine rollout could be a game changer for the Mississauga, Peel region and others.
Rollout is ramping up significantly. The accelerated rollout is a true game changer for Mississauga, Peel, and for the entire province. What this means is that right now, residents 18 years of age and older living in a hotspot zone, hotspot postal code, an FSA, in Mississauga and in Peel are eligible for the vaccine at one of our 5 mass vaccination centres. In fact, there are 11 in total in Peel, as well as at Trillium Health Partners. I want to give my sincerest thanks to the Government of Ontario, in particular Health Minister Christine Elliott, Solicitor General Sylvia Jones, and of course Premier Doug Ford, for making the vaccine available to more of our residents. We badly needed this. We needed clarity on when everyone would be eligible for the vaccine, and we needed hope. But the news for Mississauga gets even better. I am so thrilled to announce that starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., all residents 18 years of age and older, regardless of where they live in Mississauga and Peel, will be eligible for the vaccine. That's right. All people 18 plus, regardless of your postal code, will be eligible for the vaccine here in Peel region. I'm going to say it again and again and again because it makes me so happy. We will all be eligible for the vaccine as of 8 a.m. tomorrow. This is important because a handful of the postal codes in Peel, most of them were in Mississauga, one of them were in Caledon, were not considered hotspots by the province, yet they had higher case counts and higher hospitalization rates than some of the other identified hotspots in other regions.
So that's all we have in this edition. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updated news.